Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Schultz here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we will tell you about why Devon Witherspoon is going to dominate this weekend against the New England Patriots. Also, we will go over a list of potential replacements for George Fant as he's a bit banged up right now. We'll tell you about 5 free agent targets for the Seahawks of who could fill that void. Also, we will preview this weekend's matchup with the New England Patriots, go over my keys to victory, the injury report, and give you my official prediction. And we'll do a Q&A mailbag before we wrap up today's show as well. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. As you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling here on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for making us a part of your day. We are live here from the Chat Sports Studios in downtown Dallas, Texas on this Wednesday. Jonesy here, Smitty in the house here with me as well. We'll bring him in just a moment. We want to hear from you guys, though. Where is your landing spot of where you are at today? Weigh in and let us know where you guys are at. I got Ian in Auburn, Washington. Ian's always here checking in. Good to see you, Ian. Got Daniel in North Carolina. Ben says Legion of Boom 2 is back. Cadet checking in from Syracuse. Got Seth in Laverne, California. Got Mike in South Lake Tahoe. Got Ben in Shreveport. Ian saying Smitty. Ian's a big Smitty fan. Board Schuyler in Kelso, Washington. Got Jack in Beaverton, Oregon. Phobia in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Jeff in Washington. Dark Diamondson. Tyler Jones is the mother effing goat. Much appreciated. Jefferton in Spokane. D. Weller in Warden, Washington. Doom in Tacoma. TJ Smith checking in from the Tri-Cities in Kennewick, Washington. I got Doge in California. Hopefully the Dogecoin is still working for you these days. Dark in Simi Valley, California. Got Daryl in Louisville, Kentucky. Good to see y'all here. How many Seahawks tight ends all time can you name? I want to see who can come up with the most tight ends in their comment. Basically, here's all I need you to do, folks. Go into the chat right now and type as many tight ends you can think of. Anyone that's been on the active roster for the Seahawks ever at the tight end position, as Smitty joins me right now. Smitty, we won't give any hints, but I will say the tight end position for the Seahawks, that has been one that we've had a lot of big names, but haven't had a ton of success. And I'm afraid that I have to admit this, that Noah Fant, as much optimism as we've had about him and him getting paid and all that this offseason, I think at this point he kind of just is what he is.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate reality that Seattle goes and pays Noah Fant double-digit millions of dollars, and he just isn't a $10 million plus player, in my opinion. And it's unfortunate, but in this little challenge, I was actually, as I was building the show here, I was able to go name nine Seahawks tight ends since my time being a fan in the last,
Jeremy's got the most.
Years.
He's got 6. Can you top Smitty at 9?
Can you get me a 9?
Jeremy went with Parkinson, Graham, Disley, Fant, Wilson, and Olsen. That's 6.
Ooh, I actually forgot Greg Olsen in my listing, so I guess maybe it doesn't count as 10, but.
Doge went with Jimmy Graham, Luke Wilson, Noah Fant, Greg Olsen, Will Disley. He got to 5. Let's see. Ben's got 4 with Jimmy Graham, Colby Parkinson, Luke Wilson, and Greg Olsen. Dark Diamond's claiming to be a tight end. I don't know about that, but okay. I appreciate the effort at least.
I'll throw. I haven't seen the name. Yet, so I'll give you guys one. Shout out to Jacob Hollister.
Ooh.
Who was famously, his most notable Seahawks moment probably is getting stopped at the 1-yard line in that Week 17 game or Week 18 game, whatever it was, against San Fran. That decided the division that year. So.
Ian's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the most so far. Ian with Graham, Disley, Parkinson, Fant, Wilson.
Not Zach Wilson. You're thinking of Zach Miller, my friend.
Ooh.
That's another one of the guys I had in my
bag.
So
I got to mark you off. Back down to 6, Ian.
See, we got V-Mines going with some old heads.
John Carlson, Anthony McCoy, Disley, Greg Olsen, Jimmy Graham, Zach Miller, Luke Wilson, and Parkinson. V-Mines has got the most. He's got 8 in that number. D. Weller with Graham, Fant, Disley, Parkinson, Wilson, Greg Olston, and Hollister. That puts him at 7. So Ian's got the number to beat at, or V Mines does at 8. Can anyone top 8?
Another name that hasn't been mentioned yet, I don't believe, is a current Seattle Seahawks tight end. I mean, where's the love for my guy, Brady Russell?
Yeah. Brady Russell, he started the preseason finale. The Seahawks seem to be pretty high on him.
AJ Barner does count as well. I wasn't thinking of that. Farrah Brown, they've all suited up for the Seahawks before.
Yeah. Yeah, so 8's the number to beat. Can anybody top V Mines? Let's see. We're going to get to the Super Chat, then we'll tell you about today's sponsor.
You want to get to that first?
Actually, we're going to get to the sponsor first, and then we'll get to the Super Chat. We got to pay some bills around here. Let's tell you about today's sponsor. That is Game Time. Game Time is the best place to go. For last-minute tickets, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered. Game Time's got this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting to see tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Maybe it's tickets to Seahawk games, Mariner games, the Seattle Storm. They got it all, folks. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. Then you choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not with their seat views, an incredible feature. And then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it Game Time? The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Smith and I, we were just in Vegas at the USC LSU game. Game Time hooked us up, got us some great tickets. And you can, too, with Game Time. They got you covered there. Take advantage of that $20 off with promo code ChatSports. First Super Chat of the day. Haven't even got to the menu yet. You guys don't even know what you're buying. And Doom's already getting in on the action with a $5 Super Chat. Much appreciated, Doom. Stone Feet Forsyth has got to go. He's just terrible. Maybe pick up David Bakhtiari. Now, I like the idea of Bakhtiari.
In the mailbag later as well.
Yes, we will include it in the mailbag. I like the idea of Bakhtiari. I did not include him on my list of potential free agents because he is, for a couple of reasons. I'll just tell you this ahead of time. As much as I would like to have Bakhtiari, I didn't include him for 2 reasons. Number one, price tag. The money that he would cost compared to the money the Seahawks have, it's just not there at the moment. So as much as this team would be better with Bakhtiari, it just isn't financially feasible right now. Number 2, he has made it known he is looking to play for a Super Bowl contending team. Although we feel very optimistic about this Seahawks team and the direction they're headed, most don't feel that same way. I don't think Bakhtiari is looking to play for the Seattle Seahawks. I'd like to have him here, but I don't think he's interested in playing here. But nonetheless, that is the old Macdonald song for Doom, and we'll get to the rest of the Super Chat menu in a moment. But Doom, much appreciated. Here is the old Macdonald song for you. Old MacDonald had a farm, C-I-E-I Hawks. Thank you, Doom. But I say Buster Customs making his live show debut.
Whoa,
He's been with us on the watch party his whole season. Now he's on a live show for the first time.
Beast.
And he's got a ton of names. John Carlson, Stevens, let's see, 1,
Mike
2,
Tice,
3, 4,
Gerald
5,
Everett.
6, 7,
Damn
8, 9, 10. 10 names for Busters. Cadet also getting in a lot of names. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 names for Cadet.
Ed Dixon's a miss for me. That's tough. That's tough. And then what's his name? Gerald Everett was another big miss for me. I should have got those guys.
Super Chat menu today. Buster Customs, when we do these live shows, things are much cheaper than they are the watch party. So he might take advantage of this potentially. I'm a little scared. First time Super Chatters, you get the Seahawks chant. $5 Super Chat, we'll sing you the old McDonald song. $10 Super Chat, we'll take some shots. $25 Super Chat, we'll do a beer bong. You know what? I'm feeling a little generous today. Let's mark the beer bong down to 20 because it's easier if you're on mobile to pay 20 than it's 25. I'm just want to make it easy on you guys. We'll do a beer bong for 20 today. Here's the beer bong. And then $50 will get sauced with the Seahawks sauce. And if we reach $200 in Super Chats today, we will do a boot. That's all it costs to get to a boot is $200 on our live show. And $100, of course, gets you a spot in the Emerald Club. That is our Seahawks Today Hall of Fame. We have made significant progress on the Emerald Club, already over halfway filled on this thing, and we're a week into the season. So you guys have been incredible. Buster Customs has been a big part of that reason why we've had significant success with the Emerald Club this year. But if you want in on the action, $100, and you get a spot in the Emerald Club. So that is what is on the menu today. I got 92 people watching so far. Not bad, but I know more people would love to get in on the action. So let's help out the algorithm a bit. Let's spam S. It's our rallying cry. We do it on game days as if we're in our seats at Lumen Field. I want to see as many S's in the chat as we can over this next minute. Smitty's going to shout them all out. And let's get this chat popping. Let's let our voices be heard loud and clear as I see Buster Customs already throwing a bang in there. We'll get to that here in a moment. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, here we go. Who's spamming S's? We're going to get to Buster in just a moment because he's an absolute legend. But, here we go. D. Weller spamming those S's. Steve John, North Swing. Let's go. D. Weller, North Swing, carrying the deal right now. Cadet in the mix. Jeremy in the mix. Shout out Ian Herron. Shout out Chieferton. Shout out North. D. Weller. Buster's Customs. Gavin C. Jeremy. Who else we got in here? V-Mines. Let's go. Steve John. Doge Dog. Or Doge God. Brian Orr. Let's go. Keep spamming those S's.
Keep going. Keep going. Audience is growing.
Audience is growing just like that. Seth K. Aloha. How you doing, my friend? I didn't forget about you. Jeremy. D. Weller. V-Mines. Eric Norman. Chieferton. Seth. Ian. Jeremy. D. Weller. Steve. Gavin.
30
Eric.
seconds to go. Halfway home. Keep going.
You guys are almost there. Who else is it going to be? Oh, Sonny with an extra S right there. An emphatic S. Phobia. Edward. Jason Wolf. Busters. Who else is it going to be? Dark Diamond with a bunch of S's. Let's go. Gavin C. Chieferton. Eric. D. Weller. V-Mines.
10 seconds.
Here we go. Gavin C. Off Dem Dabs. That's a crazy name. Eric Norman. D. Weller. Jeremy. Steve. Seth. Jason. Oh, my God. You guys killed it.
Who had the most? Who's the early favorite for MVP? I saw a lot of names there.
Oof. I'm going to go D. Weller.
D. Weller.
D. Weller was cooking.
D. Weller crushed it. Great job, guys.
And shout out Daryl Vanover throwing a couple S's there at the end.
I love it. I love it. And the chat was popping. Audience grew. You guys made it happen. And we got some super chats to catch up on before we get to our segments of the day. Buster Customs with a $100 super chat. Bang! Busters, 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 Busters. He says drink up. That's the spot in the Emerald Club again for Busters. Busters, let me know who you want on the Emerald Club, and we'll pay off accordingly. I'll do a couple beer bongs for you, Busters. Everybody, spam Busters in the chat. Show Busters some love, and I'll do my first beer bong of the day. I'll pay off 2 of these, and we will give a spot in the Emerald Club for whoever Busters wants to nominate.
Let's go.
Coming in hot on a Wednesday afternoon, Buster Customs. What a debut for your first time, a part of a Seahawks Today live show that we do every Wednesday, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. It's our Wednesday happy hour. It may be Wednesday, but that doesn't mean we can't party and have a good time. Busters, cheers to you, my friend. Here's the first of 2 beer bongs headed your way. Go Hawks.
Woo! Shout out Busters Customs. Spam Busters in the chat.
Now another beer bong.
Buster saying Ian Herron is his induction.
Ian is here with us for every show.
Yes, every Wednesday Ian's here.
Every Wednesday, every watch party, Ian is on it and is very deserving. Buster's just he's checking in from his car lot at Buster's Customs.
That's electric.
I love it. Great to see, Buster's. Ian, welcome to the Emerald Club. I know that you contribute to the show in 1,000 different ways. He always likes the video. He's always commenting, always very active. He super chats when he can. Ian is incredible, and
Absolutely.
We're glad to have Ian on the Emerald Club. Everybody spam Ian. Ian, welcome to the Emerald Club. Ian says, dude, thank you so much to Buster Customs. I love that Buster's has made a point to get all the people active in the chat on the Emerald Club as well. Everybody spam Ian. Show him some love. Ian, welcome to the Emerald Club. They're never taking it away from you. You were on this thing. You're going to drink with us every time we get to the boot. And we are less than $100 away from our second boot of the day already. Buster Customs, much appreciated. And then, our first time Super Chatter, Sonny says yes.
First Sonny. See.
Hawks.
See.
Hawks.
See.
Hawks. Spam Sonny. Spam Sonny. It's always sunny in Seattle.
Oh.
Did you break something?
No, I just dropped my chat.
Okay. Everybody spam Sonny. Sonny, welcome to the show. Welcome. Glad to have you here, man. Thanks for being the first-time Super Chatter and showing us some love. Everybody spam Sonny. And I much appreciated, man, for the work you're doing and for getting involved in the chat and sending us that Super Chat. Getting the S's in as well. That is great to see. We are at 37 likes right now. When we get to 50, I will take my first shot of the day, and then we'll get this show started. We need 13 likes to get this show started. I do owe another beer bong. While I'm drinking the beer bong, by the time I'm finished, we better be at 50 likes so we can get this thing underway. So for Buster Customs and Ian, our second beer bong of the day, cheers. Go Hawks. Much appreciated. Thanks for showing us some love. Let's have a great day.
Chug. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Let's go.
So Chefferton says he donated his first Super Chat last week, but it was too late for the song. Chefferton, don't worry. We can sing in the song. I didn't realize that you got it in at the 11th hour like that. No worries. We'll take care of you. For Chefferton, old Macdonald had a farm, C-I-E-I Hawks.
Shout out to you, my man.
Well, actually, the Seahawks chant, rather. Well, we sang it anyway. We sing that anyway.
First-timer?
He said he was a first-timer last week.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, well.
Well, you know what?
We can do the Seahawks chant for you,
We got you, brother. For Chieferton, C!
Hawks!
C!
Hawks!
C!
Hawks! Let's go, Chefferton.
Yeah, North Swing knows. 26 likes? That's it?
We're one away from starting the show. I need one more, and then I'm going to tell you why Devon Witherspoon's going to dominate this week against New England. There we go. We did it. Good work, everybody. Let's show you what is coming up here on this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. We're going to talk about why Devon Witherspoon will dominate the New England Patriots. We'll also go over a list of replacements for George Fant. If George Fant cannot give it a go this week, we will see. We're going to preview Sunday's matchup between your Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. We'll also do a Q&A mailbag as well. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. One more Super Chat, and then we'll get to our first segment of the day talking about Devon Witherspoon.
We also are low on questions. You guys know, we need your questions.
We need your questions.
The Seahawks matchup upcoming, any injuries, trades, doesn't matter. Ask us anything about the Seahawks, but use hashtag Seahawks.
The more the merrier. The more the merrier. We can use plenty of questions. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat, and we'll get it on the show. D. Weller with a $10 Super Chat says, go Seahawks. D. Weller, much appreciated. That's our first shot of the day. I owe a couple shots because we reached 50 likes and because D. Weller sent in a $10 Super Chat. So D. Weller, cheers to you. Here's the first one. It's always after the first one that it really starts to kick in a little bit. D. Weller, cheers again. Woo. Woo. All right. We're rolling here. All right, folks. Without further ado, let's talk Devon Witherspoon. And then we'll talk George Fant replacements. And then we'll do a game preview and then answer your mailbag questions. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Mike, I see your question, but you did hashtag what's. You didn't do hashtag Seahawks. Our software's not going to pull that. It's got to be hashtag Seahawks. One thing together. Just like you're seeing on your screen, that lower third. There it is. Hashtag Seahawks. Get your questions in. So try that again, Mike, and we can use it on the mailbag segment. So stay tuned for that. Up next, Devon Witherspoon. We'll tell you why it's his time to shine this week against the New England Patriots. Jason is asking, is that Patron Silver? It is. It is Patron Silver. 100% tequila, my friends. And we've already taken a couple shots out of it. We'll see how many more we can do before the end of the day. Jason, that is Patron Silver. Thank you for asking. Yes, we're going to the Patron zone, as they say. And I see more questions coming in. You guys are doing a good job with that. So, all right, without further ado, Devon Witherspoon. Let's tell you why he's going to dominate this week against the New England Patriots. We'll break that down coming up next as we continue here on this live edition of Seahawks Today on a Wednesday afternoon. Jones and Smitty, glad to have you with us. Let's get started right now. Coming up on today's show, we will explain why this Sunday is going to be Devon Witherspoon's time to shine against the New England Patriots. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we go any further in the program, let's show Devon Witherspoon some love. I want everybody to put his number in the chat. Spam21 in the comments section. We love some Devon Witherspoon around here at Seahawks Today. He's personally my favorite player on this team. Show Devon some love. I want to see no less than 321s in the comments section for Devon Witherspoon, and we'll get started with today's show. Devon Witherspoon off to a hot start to 2024 with a very good outing against the Denver Broncos, but he ain't done just yet. In fact, he's just getting started, folks, and all signs point to that this matchup against New England is one where he will dominate, that he will arguably be the best player on the field this weekend. You go back and look at the numbers of what he did against the Denver Broncos this past week. Played in a total of 69 snaps, nice, with 7 tackles, 5 solo tackles, and 1 pass breakup as well. Witherspoon, he played great against the Denver Broncos. It was a very good outing for him against that Denver Broncos team, and he was really just all over the place with what he was able to do. And you think about it, he's primarily the nickel corner, but the Seahawks have kind of given him a license to have free reign, to really just roam around and make plays. And that's what he did against Denver. But even with that said, despite the good game he had against the Denver Broncos, the job's not finished for Devon Witherspoon. Far from it, as he still has a ton of work to do to get better from here. Mike Macdonald on his radio show on Seattle Sports this past week was talking about Devon Witherspoon, and he said the following. I thought he played really well again, moving inside and out. I wish he would have finished the 2 sacks that he had an opportunity to get to the QB. I know he's going to want those back. And it's a fair point when it comes to Devon Witherspoon and those missed opportunities. He played well last week, but there's still room for improvement. There's still room for growth with Devon Witherspoon. His grades last week, according to Pro Football Focus, were really good. 85.6 overall, 85.3 run defense grade, 80.1 coverage grade, but the pass rush grade, a 68.5, and you can factor in those missed sacks that he almost had as why his grade was a little bit lower when it comes to that pass rush grade. So then the next question becomes, with Devon Witherspoon, how does Devon ultimately get after the quarterback? What does he do to change that and take that next step? Well, personally, I think that he's going to go after Jacoby Brissett and be very aggressive in the way that he does it. And Mike Macdonald's got a plan. The man with the plan. Macdonald said this. He's one of our best blitzers. He'll be on the move. You know you're going to have to account for him in the blitz game. And you think about this, of the challenge that's ahead for the Seahawks on this front. Patriots quarterback Jacoby Brissett was sacked just 1 time last week. And the Patriots have a terrible O-line. One of the worst offensive lines in football, even worse than Seattle's for that matter. So with that said, obviously they showed something. They showed some improvement in that offensive line for Jacoby Brissett to only get sacked 1 time. That's the challenge ahead. Get after the quarterback, bring the heat, bring the energy. That's what Devon Witherspoon needs to do this next week to take that next step. Do you believe in Devon Witherspoon? Are you all in on the Seahawks corner? Is this the week that he's going to step up and do it again? Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. We'll be live for the Seahawks-Patriots game coming up this Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern for week number 2 in the National Football League. I'll be here. Big Tex is going to be here. We're going to have a great time. Our coverage beginning at 9 a.m. for our hour-long pregame show. We'll react to the game in real time, have a few drinks on hand, and you will not want to miss it. Join us coming up Sunday afternoon right here on Seahawks Today, live on the channel, getting close to 56,000 subscribers on the channel. Need your help to reach that next milestone. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV to subscribe now for free. So how does Devon get after the quarterback? What do the Seahawks have in mind when it comes to the blitz packages that they have for him? Well, according to Mike Macdonald, specifically, they're going back to math class, taking a little geometry lesson as they're working on angles with Devon Witherspoon, of getting the right angles to get after Jacoby Brissett. Macdonald said this: timing is critical. You want to be on time. It's just a function of time and space. And then, even if they do have him accounted for, he's slippery. He's got a way to work angles. He's got a couple of moves up the sleeve that he just has a good feel for, like how to take on a blocker in relation to where the quarterback is. Last season, Devon Witherspoon was very solid when it came to his pass rushing abilities. 3 total sacks in 14 games, 8 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 79 tackles. And the key for Macdonald this week is to take advantage of the physicality that Devon Witherspoon has. The angles are one thing, but the physicality is what separates him at the corner position compared to other guys out there of getting after the quarterback, is that physicality he brings to the table. In fact, a while back, an anonymous AFC scout had this to say about Devon Witherspoon. Witherspoon is a baller. He's the most physical corner in the NFL, and he's hyper-competitive. So there you have it. There's only one Devon Witherspoon. There's only one guy with that physicality. Take that physicality, take the angles, and he should be able to have a day when it comes to going after Jacoby Brissett. Is Devon Witherspoon the best player on Seattle's defense? I think so. I think that he is that dude. Do you guys agree? If so, type Y for yes, type in for no. Weigh in and let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered. With Game Time, you can go to a Seahawks game, Mariners game, Seattle Storm game, all sorts of different options to choose from. You choose the event you want to go to. Then they got the prices listed. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not. And then you're checking out on Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite team play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals, which if you see a super deal, you're not going to want to pass up on it. There's seat views, so you can get the visuals, see if you like that seat or not. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. The Patriots have a terrible offensive line. When you think about how much Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi struggled last year, a lot of it had to do with the lack of time they had to throw the football. And if you're the Seahawks, you have to capitalize. You have to take advantage of the mismatch that you have of your defense versus their offensive line and be able to use Devon Witherspoon as a rusher. Think about this. Even though the Patriots beat the Bengals last week 16-10, they didn't have a single offensive lineman graded above a 64.2 by Pro Football Focus. Even with this Patriots team rushing for 170 yards last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, the offensive line still did not play that good, according to the nerd numbers from PFF. The other thing to look at is giving Devon Witherspoon the freedom to go out there and do his thing and to trust his instincts. And the Seahawks have made a point that they're going to give Devon Witherspoon that freedom to be able to trust himself, to trust his own instincts. Devon Witherspoon, a while back, talked about that freedom in the defensive role that he's looking for. I think it's going to put me in the right positions that I need to be in, and it's going to allow me to play free. It's going to add a little bit of flavor to whatever we're doing. Then I could just play how I want to. I think the defense gives me the freedom to do that. But it also gives me discipline to play my responsibility and play off the people that are around me as well. One name I would point to is Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton played under Mike Macdonald in Baltimore, played that nickelback spot similar to Devon Witherspoon last season. Now he's moved into a full-time safety role, and Kyle Hamilton is one of the best defensive players in all of football. And you think about this. Last year, Kyle Hamilton's statistics were very similar to that of Devon Witherspoon. 81 tackles, 3 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble. But he had more talent around him, so Kyle Hamilton didn't have to do as much necessarily as Devon Witherspoon. If Devon Witherspoon can play similar to Kyle Hamilton and maximize his capabilities, not only in coverage but getting after the quarterback, the sky's the limit. And I think this week, taking on a bad offensive line in New England, this is a big opportunity for Devon Witherspoon to really go out there and shine. What is the final score going to be? Who wins? And how many points are scored? Break the score for me of this Seahawks-Patriots game. Let us know in the comments section. We'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right. That is one segment down. And 3 more to go. Next, we're going to talk George Fant replacements as we're rejoined by Smitty. Smitty, what do you think? You on the same page? You believe this is going to be a big week here for Devon Witherspoon against New England?
Going to be a massive week, and I also do believe that the answer to the question on screen is yes. I do think Devon Witherspoon is the best defensive player on the Seattle Seahawks team. His ability to affect the game in both coverage and in the pass game and be able to be, like you said, give it that freedom, that autonomous ability to just go wherever you want on the field to make plays. Devon Witherspoon is a 5-tool player. I love the impact that he's made for Seattle in just a rookie season and in week 1 of his sophomore year.
This week in particular, I think taking on this bad New England offensive line, great chance.
Bad New England offensive line, also pretty weak receiving core over there as well. So you're not going to be troubled too bad by New England's receivers out there, especially in the slot.
Right.
So Devon Witherspoon, big week incoming. I need either a sack or a pick or a forced fumble. I'll take any one of the 3.
Phobia assist, Smitty, turn your volume up.
Up. All right, my bad. My B.
There we go. Now we got Smitty.
Cool.
Is Devon Witherspoon the best player in the Seahawks defense? It's our poll question today. 168 votes so far. 82% of you saying yes. 18% saying no. Of those of you that said no, who else would you go with? Would you say Leonard Williams or would you say Byron Murphy? Byron Murphy played good last week, but I think it's too early to call him the best player in this defense by any stretch.
I don't think anybody could say that Reek Woolen is better than Witherspoon.
I want to know, for those of you that voted no, who is the player that you think is the best player in this defense if it isn't Devon Witherspoon? Weigh in, let us know. Super Chat menu, right now we're at $122. We are less than 80 away from our first boot of the day. Let's catch up on Super Chats. Ian with a $5 Super Chat. We'll include this in the mailbag. He says, if Bradford steps up, any chance we'll see Haynes at left guard? You know, Smitty, where I'm at when it comes to this interior offensive line right now, Bradford looked bad. Tomlinson looked bad. Christian Haynes is waiting there. He's waiting for his opportunity. I think anything is possible at this point. I think that we very well could see, sooner than later, maybe Bradford and Haynes out there together. We could see Tomlinson and Haynes together. I think anything is possible right now.
Now, I didn't look at the numbers. Did Christian Haynes see any offensive snaps last week on the offensive line?
Very limited. Let me look up his snap count while you mentioned it.
Sure, yeah. Because, I mean, honestly, man, outside of Charles Cross, who was a shining star for the Seahawks.
Best left tackle in football this week.
Best left tackle in football, according to Pro Football Focus. So, outside of him, though, man, it was a disaster on the offensive line. I mean,
so Christian Haynes had 4 snaps in special teams, 1 on offense.
Okay, so we need to see Christian Haynes then, because specifically on that safety, as they're talking about DK Metcalf on NFL Network right now. But that safety, man, you look right before the play is snapped, and then a second after the ball is snapped, 4 offensive linemen are on the ground. No wonder you let up a safety. So
yeah,
there needs to be a change, in my opinion, especially on the interior. And Christian Haynes has been waiting in the wings, needs the opportunity.
Ian, the old Macdonald song for you. Old Macdonald had a farm. C-I-E-I Hawks. If you want to be like Ian and send in a super chat menu as follows. First-time super chatters, you get the Seahawks chant. $5 will sing the Old Macdonald song. $10 will take some shots. $20 will do a beer bong. $50 will get sauce with the Seahawks sauce. $100 gets you a spot in the Emerald Club. And like we mentioned, we are less than 80 away from our second boot of the day. So if you'd like to contribute, get involved, you can do so. $ next to the chat box. We certainly would appreciate it. Another super chat rolling in. Seth with a $2 super chat. He brings up a good point. Julian Love had a very good game last week. He says Julian Love being disrespected. 10 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. He's not being disrespected by us. We gave him a lot of credit. I've been a big Julian Love fan ever since he arrived. But I thought Julian Love played very well. Very good stat line, 10 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. He was flying all over the field. He was a Pro Bowler last year, and I think that Julian Love's going to have a very good season. I think that was kind of just the start for him of what's to come in 2024. I'm excited about Julian Love here, what he's going to do in this defense.
One of the most underrated safeties, so I guess this kind of goes along with you saying he's being disrespected. I think Julian Love, yes, one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated safety in the NFL. He doesn't get the respect he deserves, but hey, if he keeps filling up the stat sheet like that, it won't be possible to doubt him or disrespect him anymore.
Seth, thanks for that super chat. Ian, thanks for your super chat as well. Let's go ahead and talk George Fant replacements. If George Fant doesn't make it back to the football field this week, what alternatives could the Seahawks potentially go with? We'll break that down.
Before we do start, it's so unfortunate that this is the case because we talked about when they signed George Fant about him being the swing tackle on this
right
team. You know, a guy who's coming in for rotations. And Abraham Lucas isn't healthy, and now he has to start. And now George Fant is hurt. So now we have to do George Fant replacements when we thought George Fant would be a replacement heading into the season.
Yeah. When we did Abraham Lucas replacements, it was about bringing in George Fant.
Yep.
Now here we are. Looking for our third option, potentially.
Would love if Abraham Lucas got healthy.
Hey, please come back.
He's so good, too.
He is.
He's actually a good football player.
Abe, figure out that knee. Take whatever shots or steroids you need, my guy, to get back on the football field. We need Abe Lucas back sooner than later. Let's talk about George Fant replacements as we continue with our live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Jones and Smitty here with you on a Wednesday afternoon. Let's talk George Fant replacements right now here on Seahawks Today. You're watching Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we're going to break down the top replacement options to fill in for George Fant at the left tackle position. At the time of this recording, we don't know what George Fant's status is, if he will be back on the football field in time or not for Sunday's game. How long we'll be out, that all remains to be seen. Still waiting to see when Abraham Lucas will return as well. He's currently on the PUP list with a knee injury. So what is Seattle's plan for the time being? Well, with Fant day-to-day, the Seahawks are likely, for now, to start Stone Forsythe, who was not good last week in their win against the Denver Broncos. So he goes to the starting lineup. Mike Jarrell, who the Seahawks selected in the 6th round of the draft, he gets activated, and that's their plan for the time being. But is that going to be good enough? Probably not, if we're going to be honest with you. Hopefully the Seahawks make a move and add to this, but we'll just have to wait and see what they do for the time being. We will go over the full list of replacements here in a moment, but first, we are in a sub-battle this week with our Patriots channel. You can see we got a slight edge, 47 new subs. Patriots Today's got 45. And this is your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks, folks. We're bringing out our daily news and rumors. We also have our live shows. We have watch parties for every game this season. We are your Seahawks headquarters. If you're a diehard Seahawks fan, this is the channel for you. You got to subscribe. We don't want to just beat the Patriots on the football field, but we want to beat them off the football field as well. We need revenge for that Super Bowl, folks. Allie Barefoot, host of Patriots Today. She's been known to burp quite a bit. I was walking by her in the office the other day and just let one out. I'm like, really? What are we doing here? So if you want to burp on the Patriots, go ahead and subscribe to Seahawks Today. Let's show them who's boss and get started with today's show. Dwayne Brown is who we begin with. An old friend enters the list of potential replacements for George Fant. And I know what some of you may be thinking. Dwayne Brown? What's he been doing? Well, not much, if we're going to be honest with you. He's been waiting for the phone to ring here in free agency for his potential chance to return to the football field. The resume still very good for Dwayne Brown of what he's done in his career, previously playing for the Texans, the Seahawks, and the Jets, a 5-time Pro Bowler as recently as 2021, a first-team All-Pro back in 2012. But last year with the New York Jets was not great. In 111 snaps played, he had an overall grade of 47.9, a pass block grade of 38.3, and a run block grade of 53.5. So Dwayne Brown, although he's had his moments, although he's had a very good career, he's been a shell of his former self. Seahawks, though, are kind of desperate at this point. And a guy that's been here before, we've seen John Schneider really likes to bring in guys that are familiar with Seattle, that have been in this program previously. So I wouldn't rule out Dwayne Brown at this point. We'll see. But he's the first name that we'll keep in mind. And by the way, folks wondering, just so we get ahead on this before we go over the rest of the list, no David Bakhtiari mentioned, by the way. I'm just going to tell you that ahead of time for a couple of reasons. One, I think he's probably out of the Seahawks price range. And two, he's made it known he wants to play for a Super Bowl contending team. Although we feel good about this Seahawks team, the public perception of this Seahawks team is that they're not a Super Bowl contender. So I don't think Bakhtiari is in the cards for Seattle at this point, but you never know. We'll see if things change. Should the Seahawks bring back Dwayne Brown? What do you guys think? Is he too old, or is he the best option here? Type Y for yes, N for no. Way in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Next up, we find Devon Smith, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a part of last year's Super Bowl squad and helped lead the Chiefs to that Super Bowl victory. And honestly, I think this is the best option. This is a guy we mentioned on a Super Bowl team last year that played a significant role, that had a lot of playing time. Did he play that great, if we're going to be honest? No, but he's not that old either compared to Dwayne Brown or some of these others on this list. Previously with the Bucs and the Chiefs, won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers as well, a former all-rookie team selection back in 2015. His numbers last year, he was best when it came to pass blocking with a 60.3 grade, a 45.1 grade in run blocking, overall grade of 55.4 with 749 snaps. Devon Smith just looking for somebody to pick up the phone and call him. I think this might be the guy you're potentially looking for if you're Seattle at this point. I sure would love to play him over Stone Forsythe. I can tell you that right now. Should the Seahawks sign Devon Smith? Is that the solution the Seahawks need? Type S for sign, P for pass. Weigh in. Let us know if you would sign Devon Smith or not. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. If you're looking for a spot to play some daily fantasy and make some money, Prize Picks is the place you're looking for, folks. Here's how it works. You choose two or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, maybe it's rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. And on Prize Picks this week, here's what I'm going with. I got the chance to turn $20 into $120 on Prize Picks this week, as I got Caleb Williams with this month's discount deal to have more than half a passing yard. That's easy. I got Isaiah Pacheco, the Chiefs, to have more than 63.5 rushing yards. And Geno Smith, we got a goblin on him on more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. If all three of these hit $20 down, they turn into $120. And listen to this, folks. If you use the code CLNS, you'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Check it out today, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, to get that $50 instantly when you play $5. Next on the list, we find DJ Humphries, the free agent who has a lot of experience over the years. This is a guy that you bring in that shouldn't take long at all to adapt and get on the football field. And you look at the Seahawks situation here with being down a couple tackles, they are looking for guys to be potential instant impact guys, and DJ Humphries could potentially be that. He's also been in the division playing for the Arizona Cardinals, a Pro Bowler in 2021, 98 career games played with 98 starts. He started every single game he's played. The numbers, according to PFF last year, in 922 snaps, had an overall grade of 62.5, a pass block rate of 68.4, and a run block rate of 56.5. So his strength, obviously, is in the pass blocking. Next out of the list, we find Charles Leno Jr. Not Jay Leno. No, we find Charlie Leno Jr. at this spot. And this is somebody that has a lot of mileage. He's been there, done that before in the National Football League, previously playing with the Bears as well as the Commies. He was a Pro Bowler back in 2018. And this is what we're talking about when it comes to experience with Charles Leno Jr. 149 career games played with 141 starts. And his grades were actually pretty decent last year with the Commies. In 880 snaps, had an overall grade of 72.5, a pass block grade of 77.8, and a run block grade of 62.0. Of all the guys we've mentioned here, his grades by far are the best of anyone available at this point in time. So Charles Leno Jr. could be the solution the Seahawks need. So we've gone over a few players. We got one more to get to before we call it a day. Who is a player the Seahawks should sign? Weigh in. Let us know in the comments section who that is. Last on our list, another familiar name to Seahawk fans. That is Raekwon O'Neal, who is currently on the practice squad of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you guys know how this works. You can sign players from other teams' practice squads to your active roster. And this is somebody that's the most familiar with this Seahawks team, playing with some of these same offensive linemen in Seattle just last year. Also was brought in by John Schneider. Although it's a different system, this Ryan Grubb offense, compared to what Shane Waldron ran last year, he would be the one that would be kind of the most ready to go of familiarity here of what we're talking about. Previously playing for the Seahawks, currently on the Bucs practice squad, played in 3 games last year, but that number's a bit deceiving as he only has 4 snaps in his career at this point. So with that said, very limited. He would be kind of unproven when it comes to getting his time on the field. So we'll see. There's the full list. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seahawks Today. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time. All right. Halfway home. Up next, we'll do our game preview for this Seahawks-Patriots game. We'll go over my 5 keys to victory. We will also give you our prediction. We'll go over the injury report, all that stuff. Should the Seahawks bring back Dwayne Brown? Why for yes, in for no? Smitty rejoins me right now. Smitty, Dwayne Brown would not be the name of those 5 that I would be in. I like Donovan Smith. I like Charles Leno.
Give me Leno. I mean, maybe I'm just blinded by PFF numbers right here, but give me Charles Leno based on what I'm seeing there. Almost 1,000 snaps last year. And
ton of experience.
The guy's been around, and he's still producing at this age. I mean, he's been around the NFL for a long time, and his grades were very solid, above average last year. So I'm all in if we could bring him in. He might end up being the starter if George Fant ends up coming back, and but Leno's playing well.
What do you guys think? Why for yes, in for no on Dwayne Brown? Cadet says yes. M. McRage says no. Jeremy says no. D. Weller says no. I think that's a name that's so far back, some people probably forgot even played for the Seahawks at this point.
D. Weller? What did he say?
No, I'm talking about Dwayne Brown.
Oh, Dwayne Brown. Yeah. I mean, he is closer to a nursing home than he is to an NFL organization, in my opinion.
He might be. Mike says no on Brown, too old. We saw what happened last year when the Seahawks went for the old man, Jason Peters.
Yeah.
That did not go well.
No, it didn't. So,
41 years old.
And you thought he was going to do anything for your team. Ridiculous.
41. Jason Peters will not be getting that phone call. I can tell you that right now. if the Seahawks decide to go pursue Leiden. Adam with a $5 super chat says, if Lucas isn't back by week 5, do we trade draft capital for a long-term solution at tackle? I see where Adam is going at with this, Smitty, but I don't know if anybody's trading long-term solution tackles at the deadline.
Yeah, it doesn't usually happen. You don't see a ton of offensive line trades unless teams
have quality offensive
line, unless you have a surplus. Like I think, remember when I think the Vikings and the Jags made a trade last year at the deadline for an offensive lineman that was definitely starting caliber, but I think I remember at that time, everybody was like, wow, that doesn't usually happen. Starting caliber offensive line getting dealt at the deadline.
Yeah. Adam, it's a good idea in theory. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think it all comes down to what Lucas' status is, but I would be shocked if there's a long-term solution sitting at the trade deadline if we get to that point. But
we'll throw that in the mailbag, though, Adam. Thank you very much.
Very good question. Adam, we owe you the old McDonald song. Old McDonald had a farm, C-I-E-I Hawks. Here's the Super Chat menu as we're getting so close to that boot, folks. $70. $70 away from a boot. First time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5 will sing the old McDonald song. $10 will take some shots. $20 will do a beer bong. $50 will do the Seahawks sauce. Get sauce with the Seahawks sauce. Send in that Super Chat, and we'll make it happen. $sign next to the chat box if you'd like to contribute. 70 away from a boot. If you guys want to see that before the end of today's show. Up next, we'll preview the Seahawks matchup with the Patriots. We'll also do a Q&A mailbag. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. And I certainly could still use some more questions before we get to that segment. So that is what's ahead. Rocco says we should trade for Patrick Mahomes. That'd be nice. But that's not happening. I like the idea, but no, hate to break it to you. Seahawks and Patriots. Smitty, before we begin this segment, this to me, like going into this one before the Patriots-Bengals game last week, I would have said it's a road game. You're going out east and everything. Early kickoff. Don't sleep on this team. And then they beat the Bengals. I think they should have the Seahawks' full attention now.
I agree with that. As far as what you're saying from the Seahawks' point of view.
Right.
But this is a massive letdown spot for the Patriots. As far as me thinking about this from a gambler's vision, this is a massive letdown spot for the Patriots. I think the Seahawks roll.
I think so, too. We did our Madden sim on this back in the offseason, and the Seahawks won 24-6.
Yes, I remember that. Yep.
D. Eskridge had a kick return touchdown.
Open the game.
Yes. And then D. Eskridge isn't here. So maybe we bring him back just for a kick return touchdown potentially. No, I'm kidding. Let's preview this game. Let's do the mailbag to file after that. Hashtag Seahawks Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show as we continue. We roll along with our live coverage here on this Wednesday afternoon. Seahawks today. Jones and Smitty here with you. We continue with our game preview starting right now. It's week number 2 in the National Football League as your Seattle Seahawks square off against the New England Patriots. The Seahawks coming off a win against the Denver Broncos at home to start the Mike Macdonald era. Meanwhile, the Patriots began the Gerard Mayo era with the biggest upset in the league last week with a win against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Seahawks are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under set at 35.5. Expected to be a low-scoring game. What's it going to take for the Seahawks to win? We'll go over my keys to victory, the injury report, as well as my prediction in just a bit. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. If you want the Seahawks to beat the Patriots, like the video, don't jinx it, do your part. I need at least 500 likes on today's video. We told you last week, if we got 500 likes, that would guarantee a Seahawks win. You guys delivered, and the Seahawks delivered. So why jinx it? Why mess with that mojo and energy? Just go ahead and do your part, like the video, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with the injury report for Seattle. George Fant, doubtful with a knee injury at the time of this recording. Kenneth Walker with the abdomen is questionable, as is Pharaoh Brown with a foot injury. And then Uchenna Nwosu, we await his return, that MCL injury that he had he is doubtful at this point in time. Meanwhile, the opposite side for the New England Patriots, just one on the injury report. Offensive guard Sidy Sow is questionable for Sunday's game with an ankle injury. Your keys to victory. What's it going to take for the Seahawks to beat the Patriots? Well, number one, run the damn ball. We saw the Seahawks do a really good job when it came to the run game last week against Denver, and I don't think that changes. Now, we'll see how much Kenneth Walker plays, but whether it's Walker or Charbonnet or Kenny McIntosh, the game plan doesn't change. You got to establish the run. You can't get away from the run game. And as much talk as there's been about Ryan Grubb bringing this spread offensive attack that traditionally throws the football a lot like he did at Washington, they have made it known. We've heard from Geno Smith and among others that they want to run the football. They want to establish the run to open up the passing game. And this week is the perfect opportunity going up against this New England team. Think about this. Last year, the Patriots were winless when allowing 120-plus rushing yards in a game last season. Newsflash, they did not give up 120 rushing yards last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. So, according to that statistic from a season ago, you rush for 120 or more, you win. You beat New England. Then, on the Seahawks side of things, taking this a step further, last year, the Seahawks were 4-1 when averaging 5 or more yards per carry. So, put the 2 and 2 together. If the Seahawks rush for 120, and if they average more than 5 yards a carry, they're going to win this football game. Simple as that. Run the football effectively. Who do you got? Is it going to be the Seahawks or is it going to be the Patriots? Type S for Seahawks, type P for Patriots. Don't show me your P. Type all those S's in the comments section. I want to see as many S's as we can for your Seattle Seahawks. Get your predictions in now. We'll be live on Sunday afternoon for Seahawks and Patriots right here on Seahawks Today. Big Tex is going to be here with me. Our coverage begins with an hour-long pregame show at 9 a.m. Pacific, kickoff at 10 a.m. Pacific. Subscribe now. Join us. You will not want to miss it. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. It is going to be a great time here on the channel. Seahawks Patriots live. We'll see you then. Number two, let's talk about Devon Witherspoon. Letting Devon Witherspoon cook. Had a very good game against the Denver Broncos last week, but Mike Macdonald mentioned that he kind of missed on a couple of opportunities to get sacks on the quarterback. As good as he played last week, there's still room for improvement. And one theme of the offseason for the Seahawks when it comes to Devon Witherspoon is giving him freedom, giving him the freedom to do his thing. And for Devon Witherspoon, I think the freedom is going to be on full display, that they're going to let him cook this week against this New England Patriots team who has a bad receiving core, who has a bad offensive line. This is a chance for Devon Witherspoon to excel. Macdonald on his radio show this week on Seattle Sports had this to say: timing is critical. You want to be on time. It's just a function of time and space. And then even if they do have him accounted for, he's slippery. He's got a way to work angles. He's got a couple of moves up the sleeve that he is just as good a feel for, like how to take a blocker in relation to where the quarterback is. Devon Witherspoon last season, 79 tackles, 3 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, and 1 forced fumble. And that was only in 14 games played. He's made it known he's got a goal to play in all 17 this year. And so you would expect those numbers to go up quite a bit, especially in this new Mike Macdonald defense. Number 3, you are facing the definition of a mid-quarterback in Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is the stopgap quarterback for the New England Patriots. He's just keeping the seat warm until they're ready to turn things over to Drake May. I like Drake May a lot. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback for the New England Patriots. But with how bad they are, they're not close to contending. They're letting him sit behind Brissett, and Brissett kind of manage things until then. Even in the win last week in Cincinnati, Brissett didn't play that great. He was held to 120 yards passing, 62.5% completion percentage. The way the Patriots won last week was through their run game. Ramondre Stevenson had 120 yards on the ground. They had 170 total yards. They ran the football and ran it well. Brissett didn't have to do much. If I'm the Seahawks, I am shutting down the Patriots' run game. I'm not letting them beat me with the run. I'm forcing them to make Brissett beat me with his arm. That, to me, is the key. Think about this. Not only do the Patriots only have 120 yards passing, no receiver caught more than 3 passes last week for this New England Patriots team. So that receiving core is just bad. And if you're Seattle, you have to capitalize on that. I'll take my chances on Brissett beating me. Who will be the Seahawks MVP against the Patriots? We've talked about a couple names that come to mind already. What say you? Weigh in and let us know who you think that MVP will be for Seattle. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more, Game Time has got you covered. Maybe it's a Seahawks game, a Mariners game, Seattle Storm game. They got it all, folks. And you choose your game you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat. See if you like that seat or not with their Seat Views feature. And then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. DK. Touchdowns all day. He rules. DK Metcalf. Not his best performance last week against the Denver Broncos as Patrick Surtain slowed him down quite a bit. But this week, taking on this New England Patriots team who has a pretty decent corner in second-year player Christian Gonzalez, he's got to have a big day. I think this is one of those days where we see DK stuff the stat sheet a bit, that when we look back on the season and we see his overall numbers, we look back and we say, oh, yeah, remember that Patriots game? This is his chance. And in particular, really to open it up through the vertical passing game and get those big plays that DK is known for. DK talked about recently Ryan Grubb's offense and how he fits in when it comes to that vertical passing game, stretching it downfield. He said recently, Grubb is known for his explosive plays downfield, so just looking forward to him opening up the playbook just so we can exploit defenses and push the ball down the field. That's where DK comes in. This is a great chance for him to do so against this New England Patriots team. Last but certainly not least on our keys to victory for the Seattle Seahawks, winning the turnover battle. Take care of the football. Plain and simple. You take care of the football, you win. Let's go chat stats for you on this. The Patriots last week, the thing that they did really well, besides running the football, obviously, against that Cincinnati Bengals team, they didn't turn the football over. Not one time. They took care of the football. And on top of that, they forced 2 turnovers in their win against Cincinnati last week. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks, on their side of things last week, they turned the ball over twice. You may recall that interception from Geno Smith on the second play from scrimmage. But they forced 3 turnovers in their win against the Denver Broncos. So not only do you need to protect the football, but getting that extra possession or 2 or 3 for your offense, that's a golden opportunity, and you got to take advantage of it. What's your confidence level heading into Sunday's game against the New England Patriots? I am sky high on this. I feel really good. I'll give you my prediction here in a moment, but my confidence level, I'm about a 9 out of 10 when it comes to beating New England here. I feel very good. What's your confidence level? Let me know. To recap, our keys to victory, to beating the New England Patriots. Run the damn ball. Doesn't matter if it's Walker, if it's Charbonnet, if it's McIntosh, got to run the football. Let Devon Witherspoon cook. Let him do his thing. Let him get after the quarterback. Make Jacoby Brissett beat you. Jacoby Brissett, I don't think is that great of a quarterback. Got to load the box, stop the run, and see what he can do with those awful receivers there in New England. DK all day, he rules. DK, go out there and stretch the field, get those big plays, take advantage of the mismatches in that weak secondary of New England, and win the turnover battle. If the Seahawks do all those things, I think they'll be in great shape for Sunday. My pick, I like Seattle to get a double-digit win. I think that the Seahawks dominate this one 24-13, the final score. The Seahawks advance to 2-0 before a very tough test when they return home to take on the Miami Dolphins. If you enjoyed today's show, you know what to do. Like the video. Like it for a Seahawks win. Do your part. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time. Go Hawks. All right. One more segment left. But first, who do you got this week? Seahawks or Patriots? Type S for Seahawks, P for Patriots. Weigh in and let us know how you think this game ultimately plays out. Buster Customs also brings up another good point. Play clean football. Penalties in particular. It's a great point, Buster. Play clean football. Can't be having the holding calls and all the ticky-tack stuff.
He also said more Smith-Njigba, which I need a lot more of as well. Two back-to-back catches, and they don't go to him the rest of the game.
Yeah.
On one drive. He had two first. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, every single ball he catches is a first down.
What happened to him being Geno's favorite target this offseason?
What happened to him being like a focal point in Ryan Grubb's offense this year? Macdonald and Grubb, they've said they're going to draw stuff up for him. Where is it?
Where?
Sounds like to me that Tyler Lockett is still the number 2 in this offense. Might be the number 1 based on how he looked this past week.
Tyler Lockett looked really good last week.
Yeah.
Who you got? Seahawks, Patriots. Smitty, you heard my prediction. What's your outcome? How do you see this game playing out?
Unfortunately, I don't have the Seahawks scoring as many points as you do. I have the Seahawks winning 20-10.
I'd take that.
20-10.
All wins are created equal.
That's right. 1-0 is 1-0, and 2-0 will be 2-0 come Sunday afternoon.
Mac, with the only prediction I've seen so far, Patriots 24-20. I hope not. Mike says...
If the Patriots score 24 on Mike Macdonald, he might be fired.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Mike says Seahawks 21-10. Get your predictions in. Who wins? What's the final score going to be? Let us know. Nitsu with a $20 super chat says Seahawks best in the West, tied. That is correct. We are tied for the division lead.
With the Niners.
With the Niners at the moment. Both teams 1-0. Take it week by week. We'll see where things go from here. But
who's technically leading the division right now? What's the tiebreaker on a one game? Is it points? Is it points 4?
Let's. So what happens if I pull up the NFC West standings? Who pops up first? Let's see.
I don't know.
The Niners popped up first.
Well, they scored 32, so that's natural.
They scored 32. Seahawks scored 26. They gave up 19. Seahawks gave up 20. So they popped up first. They have the tiebreaker, but we'll see when it matters. Ultimately, you're still tied for first place.
Oh, 100%.
First place is first place as far as I'm concerned.
First place is first place until you match up with the other team you're tied with.
Yeah, and you're going to see them twice. And we're going to see them relatively soon, week 6.
They're going to beat them this year. They're going to beat the Niners this year.
And is McCaffrey going to play then?
That's true.
He's been the Seahawks' biggest problem.
Has been, but Jordan Mason might be a problem as well. He had that big run in that Seattle playoff game a couple years ago to open the game. He had like 71 yards.
Nitsu, another beer bong for you. As you send in a $20 super chat. That puts us at 150. We're 50 away from Das Boot, and we got one more segment. Will we do a boot before we sign off? We'll find out. Nitsu, cheers to you.
Jeremy, yeah, usually it is division record, but I was only saying just because of week 1, there weren't any division matchups aside from, I believe, the Colts and the Texans. I think that's the only division matchup in week 1.
Yeah. And Ian says strength of schedule. Well, that's
there is no
hard to match.
There's no strength of schedule yet. You're either 1-0 or 0-1.
Can't match that up right now, but I like the idea.
That's just what I was thinking. It's probably point differential in my estimation.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. When it comes to tiebreakers, if we're having a discussion about tiebreakers, then we're in a great spot.
I would love a tiebreaker talk come December, January.
All right, back to the super chat menu one more time before our final segment. We are getting close. You guys are going? We're in the fourth quarter now, and we're $50 away from a boot. Will we do a boot before the end of the show? Clock is ticking. $50 away. Seahawks sauce, a $50 super chat as well. $20 to do a beer bong. $10 to take some shots. $5 old Macdonald song. First time super chat, we'll do the Seahawks chant. Right now, though, it is mailbag time. Use hashtag Seahawks or super chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show before we sign off and call today. So that is what is ahead. Glad to have you with us on our live edition of Seahawks Today here on this Wednesday afternoon. Let's answer your questions and get this thing started. So, final segment, and then we'll go from there. So, more to come as we continue here. Jonesy and Smitty, glad to have you with us as we continue with today's show. There is a super chat menu, $sign next to the chat box if you'd like to contribute and be a part of today's show. Send in your questions. Hashtag Seahawks Super Chat is how you can get on the mailbag. Super Chats will get priority. What is this?
Oh, okay. I thought he was going a different way.
Okay.
I thought he was going the way, because I know it's only his first game, but it's Ryan Grubb's time in Seattle, and then it says ... and then I pulled it up. I was like, is he talking about him getting fired?
Oh, yeah. No. We're not firing Ryan Grubb.
No. That's a good question.
That was a rough start to the first quarter.
Oh, it was ugly football in that first half. Then I had to come in and save the day. Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, Smitty brought us the dub.
The tide shifted when I walked in the door.
We'll blame Jack Lotteray.
Yes, we blame Jack Lotteray.
F-Jack.
F-Jack.
Get the F-Jacks in the chat. F-Jack, he's the one that it's his fault for why this team was trailing in that first half. Jack Lotteray, spam those F-Jacks in the chat. Smitty came in to save the day. If Lotteray wouldn't have been subbed out, if we didn't make that change at quarterback,
could have been in trouble.
So get those F-Jacks in there. Another shot, courtesy of Kaysen.
What up, Case?
Was confused about the cap video, how much cash we got, and how did DK's restructure change things. Also, if you had to cut one starter after the weekend, who is it? Laken Tomlinson would be my answer for who I would cut. We'll include that in the mailbag. The Seahawks cap situation. Let me see what the exact number is. I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Overthecap.com. Oh! Busters puts us at 200. We'll get to that in just a second, Busters. The cap situation, according to overthecap.com right now, the Seahawks have $13.2 million in cap space at the moment. 13.2 is the number.
So you're telling me David Bakhtiari wants more than that?
Well, I think they want to have money stashed away for the trade deadline.
True.
And they still have some extensions to take care of, too.
Yeah, who's up?
Well,
is coming up
they're
soon,
already
right?
talking Jerome Baker and Terrell Dotson, too.
I love that. I want those guys in town long term. I really do.
So, yeah, just when you add all that up, yeah, I don't see the money for Bakhtiari, at least right now. But, Kaysen, shot to you. Cheers. Oh. And then Busters, Customs, $50 Super Chat. Bang! Says F-Jack. Spam it in the chat. F-Jack, 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 F-Jack. Take that, Jack Lotteray. Almost cost us that game. Get the F-Jacks in the chat. That will be a boot. We will do it after this segment. Buster Customs to start the fourth quarter gets the 50 to put us over the top to do the boot. We will take care of that after we do our next segment here on Seahawks Today, so stay tuned for that. Mailbag time. Hashtag Seahawks Super Chat to get on the mailbag segment. Get the F-Jacks in the chat. If you got more questions, hashtag Seahawks Super Chat, and we will include that in the mailbag, so stay tuned for that as we roll along here. There we go. Everybody's spamming F-Jack. Jack's got the off day, too. I don't know if he's at home watching, but if he is, I hope he hears this loud and clear that everybody's in agreement. F-Jack Lotteray. Yeah. Enjoy that sixth booster shot.
I will want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat today. You guys got some great questions, and we have a ton of questions, and we're ready to start this segment. So I really appreciate everybody using hashtag Seahawks and getting your questions.
We didn't have to sit here and wait for questions.
We didn't have to sit here and beg you guys for questions. I really appreciate that. It makes my job a lot easier.
Yes, we thank you. Your work is not going unnoticed. Thank you all for that. All right, mailbag time. Let's get to it before we wrap up and call it a day on this Wednesday here on Seahawks Today. Jonesy and Smitty here with you. Glad to have you with us. Mailbag time. We'll get started right now here on Seahawks Today. It's time to touch our bags and drop our sack on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Schultz here with you. Thanks for joining us. You got questions. I got answers. We will talk plenty of rumors that you guys are discussing. You got some trade ideas. You got Some questions about where this Seahawks team stands right now, heading into the rest of the year. Where does this team go from here? We'll answer it all here in just a matter of moments. Before we do, a reminder, join us for live coverage of Seahawks and Patriots right here on Seahawks Today, beginning this Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific time with our hour-long pregame show. Set the alarm. Make sure you're here. And make sure your notifications are turned on. Ringer, it's going on. That way you get out of bed in time to join us for our watch party coming up on the channel this Sunday. I'll be here. Big Tex will be here. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. That way you never miss a moment. That way you're here when we go live. And that way you're the first to know when we have new content on the channel, like the mailbags you're seeing here, our live shows. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. Lock us in. Never miss a moment. Doom with a $5 super chat says, Stone Forsythe has got to go. Just terrible. Maybe pick up David Bakhtiari. I like David Bakhtiari, but I would be surprised if he ended up in Seattle at this point. I know the Seahawks have about $13 million in cap space, but Bakhtiari is looking to get paid a significant amount. The Seahawks are trying to hold out a little bit of money, potentially for the trade deadline. They also have some extension candidates, and Bakhtiari is looking to play for a Super Bowl contending team. Now, we're pretty high on this Seahawks team here. Most people are not, though. So, Bakhtiari, I think the chances are slim of him joining Seattle at this point, but you never know. We'll see. Doom, thanks for the question. Ian with a $5 super chat, hashtag Seahawks. If Anthony Bradford steps up, any chance we'll see Haynes at left guard? So we were going over the numbers, the snap count of Christian Haynes this past week. 1 snap this past week on offense, 4 on special teams. I want to see more Christian Haynes. Tomlinson was awful. Haynes was awful. Or Bradford was awful last week, rather. What that looks like, whether it's Bradford and Tomlinson out there, or Bradford and Haynes, or Haynes and Tomlinson, whatever combination, this is my thought process. All right? Hear me out on this. Scott Huff, Seahawks offensive line coach, I don't care what the combination is. If it's any of those 3 in however order, just make sure you get the best combination out there. What we saw Sunday cannot happen again. Scott Huff, if it's benching Tomlinson or if it's benching Bradford and putting Haynes out there to make sure you get the best combination, whatever it takes. I've been very adamant. I've said this all offseason long. People ask me, who are you rooting for? Who do you want to get the job? You want to see Haynes out there? You want to see Bradford? And I've remained consistent. I'll continue to say it. I don't care. I just want this to work. I just want the best combination possible. Until they figure out the best combination, they got work to do. Adam with a $5 super chat writes in, if Abraham Lucas isn't back by week 5, do we trade draft capital for a long-term solution at tackle? So we're already talking here on the channel about looking ahead to next year's draft, that you're probably going to have to find a starting caliber offensive tackle opposite of Charles Cross. That's basically a reality that we have to face. Even if Abraham Lucas comes back healthy, the knee issue is not something that is going to go away. This is a chronic issue. We've been talking about it all offseason. It was an issue for him when he was at Washington State as well. So you got to start thinking about your options. But when it comes to the trade deadline, that's one of those ideas that's nice in theory, but the execution isn't necessarily there because we hardly ever see long-term solutions, starting caliber tackles traded at the trade deadline. If somebody's available, by all means, I'm open to discussion, but I don't see there being many options there when we get to the trade deadline. Kason Reyes with a $10 super chat writes in, was confused about the cap video. How much cash do we got, and how did DK's restructure change things? Also, if you had to cut one starter after this weekend, who would it be? Cap is about $13 million. They added some void years to DK's contract, basically spread it out his money, and they also pretty much guaranteed that they are not going to move on from DK. They pretty much set themselves up where they have to extend him. Remember, it wasn't a restructure. It wasn't an extension. It was a restructure when it came to DK. So basically, they committed to hey, because of these void years we added, yeah, we're going to extend you. We're going to keep you around. That's very good. Now, as far as cutting one player, it's an easy answer. Laken Tomlinson was just awful, just atrocious last week. So that would be the guy I'd move on from. Give Christian Haynes a shot, but we shall see. Crabtree's sorry. Yeah, he better be sorry. Should the Seahawks consider trading for Emmanuel Forbes? So Emmanuel Forbes is a guy coming out of Mississippi State I really liked and hasn't really done a ton for the Commanders at this point in time. Had his rookie campaign last year, second year this year with Washington. I believe he had 4 tackles this past week. And you see his statistics, 38 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 11 pass breakups, 1 interception. And the Commanders, they look totally different when it comes to their coaching staff and management and all that compared to the group that drafted Emmanuel Forbes. So, in essence, they owe no loyalty to Emmanuel Forbes. So, if he's a trade option, if the Commanders are looking to move on from him, I'm all ears. I think that's a guy that's got a lot of talent, a lot of potential. You see that Seahawks corner room, and Witherspoon's fantastic. Rick Wollen's fantastic. Trey Brown was a little sus last week. Go back and look at those PFF grades if you don't believe me. I had some of you in the comments saying when I said that Trey Brown didn't play great last week, like, did you watch the game, whatever? I'm like, yeah, I watched the game, and I looked at the PFF grades. Go see for yourself. It wasn't a great day from Trey Brown. With that said, if you can add some depth, if you can add another piece, Emmanuel Forbes might not be a bad option potentially for Seattle. I'd be all in on potentially doing that for the right price. Should the Seahawks trade for Emmanuel Forbes? It's our pit comment today. Let us know what you think. T for trade, P for pass. 2 options there. Choose wisely. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the best place to go for last-minute tickets. The best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more, Game Time has got you covered. With Game Time, folks, they got this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, you can't pass up on the super deal, folks. They have their seat views, so you can see what the seat is like, get the view, get the visual, and go from there. Choose the event you want to go to, like a Seahawks game. Maybe you want to go to that Dolphins game here in a couple of weeks. Then you choose your seat. Get the visual, see if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Jack Daniels, one of my favorites. Would you consider trading for Harrison Bryant? Very good question. Harrison Bryant with the Raiders now. They got kind of a crowded tight end room. And this is somebody that, although he doesn't put up a ton of statistics, he did a good job of getting in the end zone last year as a red zone target with 3 touchdowns. Seahawks are a little shorthanded at the tight end position right now with the injury to Pharaoh Brown, and they don't necessarily have a red zone tight end threat. They didn't really replace Colby Parkinson in this tight end room. I mean, like, what are we giving up here? Like, can we do like an NBA-style trade? Can I give up cash considerations here for Harrison Bryant? I don't really want to give up anything, but I don't hate the idea of him being a red zone option for this Seahawks team potentially here, and you need some help at that tight end spot. It really comes down to, how desperate are you? Have we reached that point? Are we really that desperate where we're talking about trading something of value for Harrison Bryant? I don't know, Jim. I'm open to discussion, but it would have to be a very slim thing to give up for Harrison Bryant. But you could use some help at that tight end spot. Should the Seahawks trade for Harrison Bryant? Type Y for yes, N for no. Let us know in the comments section if you would trade for Harrison Bryant or not. Last question. Jason writes in, why did Seattle go away from JSN after going to him so many times earlier? Are they going to do that every week? Jason, great question. Honestly, I don't know the answer to that, of why they went away from him. My hope is that doesn't happen again, that we see the Seahawks continue to keep Jaxon involved. Remember, the hope was that he would be the number 2 receiver. They'd use him on the outside more. And who ended up leading the Seahawks in receiving this past week? Tyler Lockett. So, with that said, Jaxon, yes, you're absolutely right. We need to see more JSN. We need to see him play at a high level. Don't go away from him. Remember all that discussion this offseason about how he was Geno's favorite target and all this, and this was going to be his big year, take that big step? In practice this week, I would hope that for Ryan Grubb and company, they renewed their focus of, oh, yeah, JSN, about that guy? Yeah, we got to get him more involved. He needs to be a big part of this offense because it's not just about this year. It's about the future. JSN is the future, and I don't even blame him for last week's lack of production. They went away from him. If you go back and watch the film, he was open plenty of times and got ignored. So, Geno, Ryan Grubb, and company, go back to the film, go look for JSN, get him more involved, and I think you'll like the rewards of getting JSN involved there. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seahawks Today. Subscribe now. Make sure and join us for our watch party coming up Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific for our pregame show. Kickoff at 10 o'clock. We'll see you then right here on Seahawks Today. All right. So there you go. We are through all our segments. I'm going to go get the boot ready. Smitty's going to take over for a bit. While I'm gone, every $5 super chat will be a shot in the boot. So shot sale 50% off. We'll see how many shots you guys could come up with while I go get the boot ready, and Smitty takes over here for a minute.
What up, 12s? Listen, Tyler just answered a bunch of questions. Ask me some questions while he go gets the boot ready. And every $5 super chat that comes in, we're going to make him add a shot to the boot. So it's up to you guys. If you guys want Tyler to walk out of here stumbling, stumbling, send in a couple $5 super chats. Put a couple shots in that boot. 3 beers in one, but we could get a little more dirty than that. What up, Ian? How we doing, bro? More Jake Bobo? I don't know, man. I mean, fine player. Just, I'd rather have JSN. Let's get JSN a little bit more involved first before we start talking about Jake Bobo. What up, Mike? Buster, I mean, 5 counts as 1. So if you just want to send 1 in with a big number, every 5, divide that by 5, and that's how many shots we're getting. But it's up to you. Hashtag Seahawks. Who's the most underrated player on the team? For Seahawks fans, it's probably not this guy, but in my opinion, league-wide, it's Julian Love. Julian Love, I think, is one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL. Smitty repping the shitty shirt. That's crazy. Because it's brown? Listen, my alma mater is brown. My St. Bonaventure Bonnies, they're brown. All right? My bad. Nah, shout out to Buster. Appreciate you, my dog. Every $5 super chat that comes in from now until when Tyler comes back with the boot. Smitty, please tell me what you think of Kenneth flipping the guy over his back. I mean, one of the strongest running backs in the league, Kenneth Walker. Wonder if Tyler will have a liver left as he gets older.
No.
No. You heard. You may have heard that. He said no. Kaysen saying, who would you cut, Smitty? I think Tyler had it right. Laken Tomlinson, past his prime, got killed against a Broncos defensive line who doesn't really jump off the page for many people. I mean, that Broncos roster in general doesn't really jump off the page. So the fact that he got put on his ass multiple times, Laken Tomlinson, I think he won't be playing, or definitely won't be starting 17 games for Seattle this year. Chieferton! Send it in a 5. How we doing,
Chieferton. That's another shot. That's the old Macdonald song as well. That's 1 shot so far, right?
Yes, 1 shot so far.
He says, do you think we can only keep Grubb for 2 or 3 seasons before he gets a offer at a head coach? I think we're a long ways from that discussion just yet. But
that's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have. And I'll say this, Chieferton, although we're a ways from that discussion, there was already talk this offseason, we did a video on this, that he's already on the radar of several NFL teams.
Really?
Yes. For being a potential head coach. So, honestly, some people might not. I can't talk. Some people might not want to hear this, but if the offense is cooking, we've seen NFL teams say 1 year's enough. We're giving you a head coaching job.
Yeah, it's happened before.
So enjoy Ryan Grubb for now. We'll take it day by day. It's a good problem to have. If we get to that point where Ryan Grubb is that good, by all means, wish him well.
Yeah.
And go find the next one.
Yep.
It's the business. It's the NFL. When is the last time, I can't even think of it off the top of my head, when's the last time the Seahawks had an OC that got taken elsewhere to go be a head coach? I mean, it's been a long time. That's a good problem to have. It feels like we fired every single one.
Multiple Seahawks DCs have become head coaches, Gus Bradley and
Dan Quinn.
But no offensive coordinators.
Schottenheimer got fired.
Darrell Bevel's a bum.
Bevel got fired.
Waldron's OC elsewhere.
Right, basically got fired.
Yep. So,
all right, I'm putting a minute on the clock. Last chance to get a shot in the boot. Here's the boot right here. 1 minute, $5 to get a shot in the boot. This one's for Chifferton. Old Macdonald had a farm. C-I-E-I Hawks. Think of Chifferton. Great question, though. Great question. But I think we're still ways away from that answer. It's a good problem to have. Last chance. I did a pretty good boot on Sunday.
Okay.
15.5.
That's a better time than I've ever seen you do.
I was feeling it Sunday. I was in a good mood. I think I was running off the adrenaline, the vibes, and all that. 15.5. Got 20 seconds. Last chance to get a shot in the boot before we sign off and call it a day here. We'll see what you guys come up with. But what do you guys think? Usually I set the over-under at 20. After as good of a job I did with that first boot Sunday.
Let's set it at 18.
Let's go 18.
18. You guys know I'll get my stopwatch out.
Over-under 18 seconds.
I think if you move a little bit to your right, this would be a cool, little visual here.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now we put Smitty in a box.
You don't see this view too often, folks.
Yes. Getting a little visual there. We get me and Smitty both on screen.
That's right.
O for over, U for under, 18 seconds. We feeling 18 today. Dano with a 5. We'll add that to the boot. Old Macdonald had a farm. C-I-E-I Hawks. There's another shot in the boot. Dano, much appreciated.
Shouts out to you, my man.
Thanks for sending in the 5, my friend. O for over, U for under. Oh!
Oh, boy.
Buster says load that thing up with shots. All right, Busters. You ask, you deliver. Or I deliver, I guess. Here it is. Buster Customs with a $50 super chat. Bang!
Just pour a bunch in there.
I got an unopened Happy Dad. You want to chug this?
I don't want to chug. I'm not feeling too well. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he is a bit under the weather. He's playing hurt.
I'm playing hurt. Play through it. Flu game. Still playing a
Tell you this, Busters, I will put a bunch of shots in, but I want to make it worth your while. So here's what we're going to do. I got an idea on this. We're getting creative. Instead of the over-under 18 seconds, what about we go from the boot, drink it, set it down, and go to the beer bong.
Okay.
Back to back, a marathon.
A marathon. A little
an alcohol triathlon.
A biathlon there.
Biathlon here. Let's set that at 30.
Okay. All right.
Let's do this. We're getting creative here, folks. Since Buster's, and I'm still taking care of the shots. Don't worry. Here's what we'll do. Buster's, 30 seconds. I start with the boot. Drink it up.
3 seltzers in one.
3 seltzers in one. Then we go to the beer bong and drink that up. 30 seconds to do them both back to back. I'll go ahead and start pouring. What do you guys think? O for over, U for under, 30 seconds.
What's it going to be, folks?
On the beer biathlon here. O for over, U for under, 30 seconds. Get your predictions in now. Let's go. All
right.
Oh, and Busters, that's another spot in the Emerald Club since you sent in 250s. Let me know who you want to nominate.
Ooh, Busters. Well, he said what's not full?
Oh, he's trying to claim I need to add more.
Oh.
Okay. All right. That thing's filled up now. Over, you for under. 30 seconds of the beer biathlon.
What do we got, folks?
Busters, let me know who you want in the Emerald Club first. That way I can add them. They can drink with us before we start.
Okay, I have my stopwatch ready.
I want to induct them first so they can drink with me.
Okay.
But I'm waiting on a name from Busters. Busters, who do you want?
Busters, who's coming to the Emerald Club next?
Otherwise, I'll just put you on, Busters. You could use some more spots for yourself, I'm sure.
Mike Dainty.
Mike Dainty. Mike Dainty, welcome to the Emerald Club. MD, my guy, and I love this. He's saying both under 26.5. So not only is he in the Emerald Club, he's a man of confidence.
A lot of people are confident in you, it seems like, in the chat. I haven't seen any O's. Go for the record.
Go for the record.
Well, I'll be able to tell. I'll hit the. You guys know how
Mike?
I have on the.
You
on
are
the
now a
stopwatch.
member of the Emerald Club. Spam Mike.
You guys know how they have the little lap button on the stopwatch, so I'm going to hit that lap button when Tyler finishes the boot, so we get an official time on that as well.
Here we go.
It's up to you, my friend. When liquid touches the lips.
Spam chug.
Spam chug in the chat.
Stretch a little bit.
Mike getting in the Emerald Club. Shout out to him.
All right, here we go. 5, 4,
Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Boom, it's off and running. And Jones, off the rip. Ooh, this is a messy affair. But he might have it back. Oh no. This is unbelievable, baby. Quite the performance coming from Tyler Jones. Boots down. And a beer bong coming. Oh my goodness, this man is an animal. Does he have it down? Unbelievable! 28.8!
Wow! Wow!
Unbelievable!
Wow!
And you guys see that lap there. I don't know why it has a second lap, but the first lap there.
Wow!
For the official lap 1, it said 21 seconds on the boot. So he
The
really
loaded boot.
really made up for his time on the beer bong there.
With a loaded boot to the very top.
Yes. So
Oh,
there you have it. Let's go.
there was some damage done.
Listen, no harm, no foul. Let's go.
We made it happen. I'm going to have to wash this shirt now. That's okay. Let's hit the Dan the Man super chat before we sign off and call it a day.
Yeah.
Dan the Man, good to see you, my guy. Real quick, final super chat, then we'll sign off. How is Seattle not concerned about the
yay room? Bless you.
Excuse me.
Tight end room. I'm sure.
Tight end room, I'm sure. I think everybody actually is concerned about the tight end room. Pharaoh Brown's banged up right now. Noah Fant hasn't played that great. I would say the silver lining is that the wide receiver room is just that good.
Yeah, that's the silver lining of it all. Seattle still has good weapons on the field. Just unfortunate that tight end isn't one of them.
Oh, man. John says that shirt will evaporate. Dan, for you, we'll sing the old Macdonald song, then we'll sign off and call it a day.
Here we go.
Old MacDonald had a farm, C-I-E-I Hawks. So long, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday, 9 a.m. Seahawks and Patriots. Go Hawks. Thanks for joining us.